I'm Chris McDonough, a retired homicide detective. I've interviewed thousands of people, from serial killers to ministers. Welcome to the interview room.
Hey, sorry about that. I apologize. You know, traveling so much, we have every once in a while I have to go to these locations, totally undisclosed, as everybody knows. And I got a note here from Karen saying, "Where are you?" I say, "I'm right here. Where are you?" And we both started laughing. So grateful that each of you are here tonight. So thankful to all of our mods, who were able to make it. Stephanie Herb and Miss Sophia and Maui Girl and Sophie H. We are so grateful as a family to have each of you as part of our team tonight. And I know that many of you rushed home to try to make this broadcast. So for that, we are very grateful. Just so you know, I want to thank all of our members here on YouTube from all the levels. We're so grateful for you as well. And all of our subscribers who come to watch our content. Can't do it without you. And most recently, we figured out this Patreon thing. And I put at the commander's level tonight, a video up. It is the uncut version of my interview with Hunter. And the reason I put it on Patreon is because there is some information in there that I have been holding on for quite some time. And I just think right now, currently in the atmosphere, even today, as an example, it's pretty sensitive information. So, but it will clarify some things that were floating around in rumors on the internet about certain things. So, that said, you don't have to be a member of Patreon. You don't have to be a member of YouTube. All that we ask is that you subscribe to our channel, okay? And that you hit the like button, you hit the bell, and then you share this so that the algorithm helps us out. So that said, again, we have an update on some amazing things happening in Krystal's case. Okay. I have Josephine here with us tonight, who's going to give us an update. And so I want to bring in Krystal Mitchell's mom, Josephine Wentzel. And let me pull her in here. Hi, Josephine.
Hi, Chris.
How are you doing?
I am doing well.
So grateful that you are here with us tonight. We want to hear not only about Popeye and some of the progress that the U.S. Marshals is making. And by the way, if you have not seen the first video we did about him, it's going to be not only in the chat, but it's going to be in the links below. And also everything that we talk about will be also in the links below. But this is a show about getting bad people off of the street. And Josephine came up with an incredible idea on how to do that and how to actually, I think you're going to box him in. I really think you're going to box him in. So without further ado, let me put this up so that we can hear about some of the amazing ideas that you have in motion here. I have this first slide. It's called The Chase. Tell us why this first slide is called The Chase.
Well, it's the chase because I have been chasing my daughter's murderer for a while now. It's going on, it's been over 5 years. My daughter was killed on June 10th, 2016. She had met a crazy guy that she didn't know was crazy. He was charming. They went out on a date and he killed her. And then after killing her, he fled. And so I've been chasing him ever since.
Yeah, and your tenacity and just amazing fortitude to honor your daughter and get her killer off the streets has gotten national attention. Recently, you've been doing a lot of different things, correct?
Yes, I've been on the Nancy Grace show. She actually invited me to be part of their panel, expert panel. I've been, on Access Hollywood and a bunch of other shows. And I recently wrote a book several months ago and told the story about, what we went through. I wanted to be as raw as possible. Yeah. And, the first 2 chapters is about the experience, getting the word about, her death, my daughter's death, and, dealing with the pain. Most people don't, they could only imagine what families go through. And I wanted them to know how deep that pain was and what we went through after getting the word from the detective that Krystal was murdered.
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So for our viewers who are new with us since the last time we spoke, just so everybody knows, our new subscribers, thank you, number one, for subscribing. But we always bring back our friends and families to our TIR family here. And at the end of this presentation here, we're going to allow questioning for Josephine. Are you still good with that, Joe?
Yes, sure.
Okay. And so you guys can also help in the chase here for this savage. So walk our new viewers through what happened.
Well, my daughter was a property manager in Phoenix, Arizona. And while working there, a man by the name of McLeod, Raymond McLeod, was out on bond for attempting to kill his third wife. Unbeknownst to my daughter, he was out on bond, and he had flown out to Phoenix. And instead of staying with his parents, he decided to go get an apartment. I mean, that's how arrogant he was. He was facing a felony and some time in jail, but he went to look for an apartment and sign a lease. And so after he did that, he met my daughter. He started stalking her. And it was unfortunate that she was a very vulnerable person at that time because she had left a relationship, 5 months prior. And the guy that she broke up with was stalking her. He was going to her condo and getting in the back porch and pounding on the door. So she was afraid of him. And so in comes McLeod, a charming man, a former Marine, and he made that known that he was in the U.S. Marines, and offered her a gun to protect herself. And so, my daughter was used to, I was an ex-cop, so she was raised around guns. And so she really appreciated his gesture. And that's how he gained her confidence. And then the next thing you know, he asked her out for a date to be exclusive. And, at first I was like, okay, you don't just meet somebody and date exclusively. But, Chris, in today's world, people go online, they meet people. So I just kind of looked at it like, okay, exclusive means don't go online and date anybody else. Let's check this out, relationship out. Well, he has a son, and the son is about the age of my grandson, Krystal's son. She's a mom of 2 kids. And so the one thing she said to me was, Mom, he absolutely loves his son. He dotes on his son, and he loves his son so much. And that was one of the things I had talked to her about, being a single mom. If you meet a guy, just observe how he is with his own children, make sure he loves children. So, that way he treat your children well. And so everything that she wanted, he displayed. Charming, I can't say he's handsome. I don't think so anyway, but she was vulnerable. So she was, he came as a hero. Her own sister was a U.S. Marine. So, Marine, safe people, kind people, helpful, fight for the country kind of people. And his parents were established in Scottsdale. So, they had a life insurance company. So there wasn't any really red flags there for her. And, like I said, she's afraid of her ex-boyfriend that was, hunting her down. So it was easy to fall into that trap that he had. And that's basically what he had, was a trap for her. He wasn't looking for a relationship. He was looking for an ex-victim. After my research about this guy, I found out that this is his, signature. He goes and he meets these women, he charms them, and then he abuses them, beats them up, and some think that he's possibly killed before Krystal. And I'm beginning to believe that. But
Yeah,
anyway.
that's an interesting point you bring up. Tell our viewers why you think that is, because you recently had some conversations with forensic behavioral folks.
Yes.
And so share that if you're able to. I mean, I know you've been, doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I know the last time you were here, we had the actual U.S. Marshal on, who's hunting this coward down.
Yes.
So share what you can about some of the behavioral stuff that you're. Because when you told me, we chatted for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but tell them about that doctor who's been weighing in here, if you can.
Yes. So I met that doctor actually on Nancy Grace's show, and he had worked with the U.S. Marshals, and he did behavioral analysis on these perpetrators. And he told me that McLeod is a sadistic person.
Yep.
He purposely looks for women to hurt them, and he gets excited hurting women. He likes to disable women. He likes to shame women. I mean, I had women contact me after, the story went national, and some of the stories that these women told me was just horrific. Going to work with bloodshot eyes because he strangled them near death. He's just done horrible things. He'll take women to a hotel and take their credit card phones from them, and just he enjoys hurting and disabling women, and he enjoys it.
Yeah, he is what, a sadistic.
He's a psychopath. According to the doctor, he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
And he doesn't doubt that he's killed before, and he doesn't doubt that he's killing again, and he's out there abusing women. I mean, even in my search for him, I've come across people that said, oh yeah, he badly beat up this one woman in Guatemala before he fled. He beat up another woman in Belize before he fled. And, there's no doubt in my mind that he's killing.
So that Central America corridor, there. What part of Guatemala?
He was in Livingston, Guatemala. When I tracked him down, he was staying at a hostel.
How far was that from Guatemala City?
I never looked at that, the miles there, but it's more on the border. I noticed that he would stay closer to the border so he could just flee across one border. So you had Honduras was around there, Belize, and Guatemala, right in that.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think the reason why he would stay in places like that, so he can just flee to another country.
Right.
If he gets caught, so they have to do the paperwork all over again.
So you came up with a genius way of maybe boxing him in, and that was to write a book.
Yes.
So tell us about that inspiration and tell us how we can help you promote this, because you have a certain goal. What was that goal that you want to share, that you shared with me?
My goal is to get this book out to every hand possible. I wrote about him, and I also put his poster on the book on the outside and inside. So he would think that everybody's reading the book. I mean, he knows the book is out there circulating, and people around him may be reading it. And I'm trying to get this printed in Spanish and get it out to Central America and into many hands as possible. I want him to continue to look over his shoulder and think that somebody's reading the book, somebody's going to notice him and see him out there. And I was able to also put, his story, because after, going through my grieving and, waiting on the marshals and everything else, I decided to do a background check on him, and I found restraining orders against him. I found, he's been involved in domestic violence and violating restraining orders and, things like that. So I was able to expose him for who he was. And even for, some of the people from the Marines that he served with would contact me and write me a letter about what he was like and what he's done. And they said he basically was a guy that got 86 or thrown out of bars. He was always violent wherever he went. He was always in trouble, and he was always bailed out by family members. That's what they told me.
He's a disgrace to the Marine Corps, and he's not reflective of the Marine Corps values. He is an absolute dirtbag when it comes to any military veteran and or any military personnel serving today.
Absolutely, because I come from a Gold Star family. We are a Gold Star family. I've lost brothers in the war. And Krystal's children's dad was actually injured in the war. And, so we are a Gold Star family. My own daughter was a Marine. Krystal's sister. So, I have high respect. And what I discovered, I believe that in my search anyway, that he became a Marine to empower himself, because he was looking to get into different types of positions, to where he can get into more trouble. And some of the requirements is that he had to have been in the military. So I think he had a goal that he went into the Marines for that purpose. He didn't join to serve and protect. He joined to make himself big. And it's kind of interesting, Chris, because the Marines that were with him in the company said that he was a company turd.
And that's a Marine Corps term too, by the way, right?
And I said, well, wasn't he this big and puffy guy and bad dude? They said no, he was a company turd. He was always in trouble, and he didn't have friends.
So your idea, in my opinion, is just brilliant. So guys and gals in our chat here in our TIR family, let's get every gym in America and Central America and Europe to go on Amazon the manager, go to the manager the next time you're in the gym and say, look, there's an American who is number 15 in the most wanted list for the United States Marshals Service. The only one who has ever had a reward of $50,000 on his head.
As the first top 15, yes.
The first top 15, correct.
To receive that,
right.
Yes.
Thank you for correcting me. So let's get him a new home. And you see the number down below on the ticker. Wherever you are in the world, share this video on your phone with the manager of your local gym and see if we can't get them as well to buy a copy of this book and put it on the counter of every gym around the world. And make it the gym read so that when the folks are on the treadmill, they're reading this book and then they put it back on the counter. And hopefully you order your own. Okay? But if we could get enough gyms to do this, because look at this knucklehead. He's not going to be able to not be in a gym somewhere to, kick off his masculinity, his game. Okay. Can you tell us any more about how old is he now?
He is about 37 years old.
He's 37. And at the time he was 32, right? When he took Krystal's life. Okay.
Yes.
So in 2016 in San Diego, by the way, is where this happened. Incredible support from the DA down there, Summer Steffen. The actual U.S. Marshal who's chasing him, Gus, came on the show. The last time you were here. Hang on for a minute. I got
Francisco. Yeah.
Yep. And he even gave his personal cell phone number. And if anybody has ever seen this guy or think you've seen him, go to the first video that we have up that I know our mods have put it into the chat here. But when you get an opportunity, go watch that one. And Gus's phone number and everything is in there. But here's the comm center for the United States Marshal's Office. You can call them 24/7, 365 and report any type of information that you would like about a potential sighting or that type of situation if you know where he's at. Do not approach him. Go ahead.
Yes, Chris. And another thing I wanted to point out, because there are people in Arizona that know where he's at. So if you're in Arizona and you're around these people or you hear some rumors from these people, let us know, because people are talking, I'm sure. It's been a while. People's going to say something. Oh, I know, I'm a part of that. Or, oh, I know where he's at. Or, so-and-so know where he's at. And the sad thing about it, Chris, is that some of these people that know his whereabouts are mothers, are young mothers. And, here's the thing, as, a young mother, you would think they would have compassion for my grandchildren who lost their mother to this brutal murder. You would think that people would come forth and expose where he's at so my family can have peace. But instead, they choose to protect the guy, and they follow him down this bloody road and clean up the mess after him and protect him. Why would they protect such a monster? I mean, don't they realize that, the other people that he's killing, I mean, their blood is in these guys' hands for not telling where he's at. I've actually spoke to a bartender from Phoenix area, and he said, yeah, there's people that know where he's at. I said, well, when they say something, he says, no, No, people just don't care. And I think that's what's sad about this, is they would protect him.
Yeah, no, I again, that's why I just think your idea is, I mean, it's all off the hook. So that last comment was, what's the target area from your perspective? Where do you want to have them go?
Arizona, anywhere in Arizona, Phoenix, Scottsdale, that's where, the nest is at. People there know where he's at. And so the more exposure we have there, that, the better. In Central America, I mean, we've been looking in Costa Rica and Panama. And
Yeah,
of course, Mexico, they have some interest there. His family, he has some family members that have interest in Mexico and Belize.
yeah, and thank you for purchasing her book. And then Mick says he looks mean. Yeah, he is mean. He's not only mean, he's very dangerous. And Vet Girl RWB said they will send your book to various target areas. And thank you for your service, Vet Girl.
Thank you.
That is just fantastic. And then Carrie, I had this up, but I forgot to mention her. Carrie just purchased your book, Arts for Life. He will brag, he will talk. Yeah, what's your thought about that?
About him bragging?
Yeah.
What's kind of interesting, he tells everybody that he's telling people he's a former Marine. I think I'm sure he's bragging about how he's, gotten away thus far. And I'm sure he's more confident. But, it's kind of interesting that ever since I had, released the book, I'm getting these weird comments on Angels of Justice website on Facebook. One was something about revenge. Another one was a Hell's Angels picture and mockingly saying, please help me, and they keep attempting to post. And of course, it's coming from a fake account. Now, we know that he has people that are watching and monitoring my page, my Facebook page.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic in of itself. So you think perhaps it could be him, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. He's that kind of a person. Remember, he has a Fugitive Recovery LLC in Phoenix, Arizona. So he thinks like a criminal and he thinks like a fugitive. So
Yeah.
he's playing this cat and mouse game with me. I have no doubt. I mean, there were some times when I was searching for him in Central America and I'd be contacted by someone who I had no doubt was him. Just the mocking. I had this person that was contacting me and showing me pictures of a woman, not showing her face, but she had all the features of my daughter and mockingly asking me, don't I look like your daughter? Don't I look just like her? And I know it's him. It's him or somebody very close to him.
Yeah, interesting. So did you see that last question?
No, I didn't.
What makes him different? And thank you, coexist. What makes him different here? I'll put it back up. What makes him different?
Than other murderers? He's charming.
And to get up onto the Marshals top 15.
He's charming. He's extremely dangerous, and like I explained, he's a psychopath, and he's not going to stop killing. You have some murderers that would kill and say, "Whoops, I'm sorry," and repent or change their ways, and not just continue to kill. This guy's a serial killer. I mean, he's just beating up every woman he meets. He has no regard for women. He's a psychopath. That's what makes him different. The only way to stop him is to catch him and throw him in jail or whatever. But he's not going to stop on his own.
Yeah, thank you, Mama. He definitely needs to be in custody. I mean, he is just so dangerous. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think, we have enough power here in the true crime community uh, to really take this guy to keep the pressure on him and keep him looking over, his shoulder, even though, he thinks he's, uh, you know, a bag of chips with a, couple of Cokes on the side. Uh, he really is these kind of guys, around women, the fact that his victimology are vulnerable women, and the fact that he is so um, abusive in relationships, that becomes the psychological fuel for his fantasy of control.
Yes.
And so the fact that he is able to, pull on that, um, makes him even more dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah,
He hates women.
he hates
He
women. Even,
hates women.
yeah, Sue the animal lover says he even gives Popeye a bad name, right? Don't we all believe in that for sure?
Well,
Um,
and he also he loves torturing animals. While he was in Livingston, Guatemala, he bludgeoned a dog to death in a cage in front of people. And then he was like killing frogs and throwing it in water wells, and he's sick. He's sick in the head.
yeah. Um, okay, so let me move this slide to the next one. And let's talk about what you think is the greatest strategy so far outside of this brilliant idea that you've presented, that would give Gus the upper edge on getting this guy. And folks, if you're just joining us here, I see a lot of people coming in. Josephine is the mother of Krystal Mitchell, who was a victim of DV homicide. And the the coward we're talking about is Raymond McLeod, who is on the U.S. Marshals top 15 most wanted. And you'll see uh, below here in a second the number for the United States Marshal's Office to call if you've ever seen this guy. Well, Josephine is so uh, inspiring to thousands and thousands of moms and other women. In fact, you have helped so many people who are victims, such as yourself. But your story has become somewhat unique because you've actually written a book now about your daughter, about the suspect, and about your hunt to put him behind bars for the rest of his life. And I think the fact that you trusted me to start telling your story here on YouTube about this monster, the fact that he's pure evil, and now hopefully we can take it to the next level. And folks, what we're asking for tonight is if you go to Amazon, if you can, purchase the book. But secondarily to that is go into every gym in every country,
Yes.
go to the manager and say, look, there's a book from a mother who's hunting the man who killed her daughter. Would you purchase a copy of that for the gym and put it on the counter? And then, just kind of use it as the gym library book, and so that it makes its rounds to everybody on the treadmill. I just still think that is an amazing idea that you have come up with. And by golly, we're going to promote it for you. We're going to help you catch this guy. Are you able to talk about anything, not to compromise anything Gus is doing, but did he get some stuff that moved him in the right direction? The last,
Gus, you're talking about Francisco, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I call him Gus, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
um, well, recently, and I just wanted to put out there too that the money I make out of this book, I'm using it to put out ads and stuff like that. And social media ads. I just ran some ads recently in Panama and Costa Rica, and so that's another way that I get the word out, is just running ads, Facebook ads, social media ads. So I'm using this money not only for that, but I also help other cases, like you said. Right now I'm assisting in a triple homicide cold case in Arizona, and recently I was assisting another family, to get the word out to stop their murderer from being let, free from prison. And we have some other stuff in the works right now, and I'm working on a Krystal alert. And I can tell you more about that once we put it all together. I was at the DA's office and they thought it was a brilliant idea, but it's something that's going to help other people and hopefully prevent people from running to other countries.
So here's a good one here. So folks are saying that they've seen him on Tinder. So how do they send a screenshot to you? Can you share like your website? I know it's down below in the links, but
Yes.
I would rather have this type of information go direct rather than me in the middle of it. And that way we don't waste time.
Okay.
But this is a great idea here. I know Vet Girl is putting it up as well. Let's see here. And I know one of the folks, I'm looking for it right now, that here it is, Faith, said, I swear he's on Tinder.
He's been on Tinder. Yes. That's his number one spot is Tinder.
Okay.
I don't know if he's still involved in Tinder. I don't, he's arrogant. I don't know. Anything could happen in 5 years. If he feels that, he's gotten away thus far, he could still be in there.
So
you can send it to me. If you go to angelsofjustice.org and you can fill out a form, leave a message or whatever. If you give me your information, I'll get back to you on that.
And one of our mods, can you pull that link? It's in our description, and that way, I think I think Maui's already got it up here, but let's see here. Yeah, that way we have it direct, because once it hits Josephine's in basket, it goes right to the marshals.
Yes, I have direct contact with them 24/7. I have all their cell phone numbers. It's probably the best way to get any information to them. Just send me a message and I check it every day, and even other dating sites. Yes. And he's known to be on Duolingo learning Spanish while he was on the run.
Okay.
So, I'm just thinking he might be on Central American, dating sites.
Yeah, guys and gals, I think we can catch this turkey. At least put him in a box so that he has to realize that he's going to have to either mask up and or, kind of, not be out where we kind of lock him in. So I think the power of what we're doing here, and this is one of the powers of us using this true crime community for good, and just keeping it focused on these bad guys. I think if we do this correctly, we can lock him in to at least a geographic region to where the authorities can get involved and make it happen, right? And here is from Stephanie, thank you, Krystal's website, and this will be direct to Josephine if you go to that website. So let's see here. So I'm going to move the next slide. So let's try to get this guy. That's the goal. Okay. So now are you are you up to take some great questions here?
Sure.
Okay. Anything else I forgot to ask you that you feel is important?
Well, I just wanted to mention that he uses steroids. He has a lot of tattoos on him, and you can go to you can go to my website, look at his pictures, and look at his tattoos as well. And he frequents bars and strip joints, and at one time, supposedly he was a stripper, a male stripper. So I don't know if he's bi or not. Could be, but
I think he is, if you look at him correctly.
yeah, because he hates women.
Yeah.
And so I know he's been thrown out of bars a lot.
Yeah.
And he's basically a poser. Even his tattoos, people that know him said his tattoos don't match him. He's a poser.
Yeah. And I think that may be some of his frustration.
Yes.
He's not really sure who he is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, he's kind of trying to figure it out, trying to figure it out. You're a strong mama. I hope to be 1/10 of the woman you are. Wow, that's very sweet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mama shit. Thank you so much. That's very kind.
Thank you.
Very kind. So let's see here. Let's go here. Print some flyers, take them to the gym. It only costs 20 cents at Print Place on stock card. Okay. Great idea. Navy vet. He's a disgrace. He should brag about he should brag about disgracing the Marine Corps as well. All veterans and active military personnel. I think that's what we were saying earlier. He shouldn't take any credit for being a military guy. You said he has a company.
Well, he has an LLC. He has an LLC called Fugitive Recovery LLC. Believe it or not. I don't know if it's up and running. I know that his family have a life insurance company in Phoenix, Arizona.
Interesting. Thank you, Mama. Again, you're very kind. Here's a question. Is he connected to the Hells Angels?
No. No. From what I understand, no. He's really a loner, from what people are telling me. And, so he fits that profile of a serial killer because, he's a loner. And he gets thrown out from every place. But, he comes from money. His family has money. So he attracts, I think, a lot of women that way. That's something to consider. He drinks a lot. When he drinks, he stutters.
Oh, that's really interesting. And he also has a deformed ear, doesn't he?
A left ear, is kind of deformed. His chin is pointy, and his arms are actually shorter than his body. He's not proportioned.
Okay, so let me go back to his picture.
If you look at the one with the lollipop, you'll see that, I think it's that one. Was it that one? There's another picture, and it shows that his arms are not proportioned, and one of his exes that said something about that. But you can see his left ear.
This is the one we coined him as Popeye, right?
Right.
And did you have other nicknames for him that we can share? That you want to share?
I'd rather not say. I mean, I've called him things like McCockroach, McCoward. I mean, I say cockroach because he's hid so long, and he has to be very, very dirty to last this long running around out there. He'll hide in terrible places.
Yeah. So Barb is wondering about his childhood history, if there's severe mental abuse in there, if you know.
I don't know. I just, from what I heard, his dad overpowers mom. That's just people that know them and have said it. I mean, I can't say that, for a fact because I don't know his parents. But for somebody, to be so full of hate and with women and being married 3 times and having so many girlfriends, you have to wonder what went wrong there.
Yeah, interesting. And Mama Sheet 13 is asking if I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling great. To be honest, now, man, this is exciting to be on the hunt here for this pinhead. I have two. Josephine knows me. I have two sides of me. I get in this cop mode, i.e., detective thought process, and my brain starts going 100 miles an hour. So I get a little serious, and then we start talking about some of these great ideas that are coming from all of you, and I'm watching the chat to make sure I don't miss any. So thank you so much for asking. And look, Josh over at the lab calls him T-Rex. So we got Popeye and T-Rex. Yeah, some of these comments are hysterical. So he's definitely on steroids. Yeah, so Roxanne's asking, is he definitely on steroids?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what happens to him after, my son was saying that they would have to take something to hormones or something to keep a balance, because if he gets off steroids, he could grow body parts like, breasts and stuff like that if he doesn't get off of it properly.
Yeah, Art for Life says he actually is shaped like a T-Rex. I know, right? Yeah, steroids make him violent, for sure, Anna.
Yes.
For sure. Here's a question. Do his parents want to help at all? Do they even care where he is?
No. Actually, they retained an attorney and refused to cooperate.
Wow.
And, sadly, I mean, his mom passed away November of 2017, I'm sure, of a broken heart.
Does he have anger issues in other areas of his life that you've just uncovered?
No, I just know that he's just arrogant and full of hate. I mean, I know when he drinks, according to people that know him, when he drinks, he loses his mind. So that's what happened,
Yeah. Did he ever live in New York?
No, I've never heard of New York. He's lived in North Carolina. He was out there when he was a Marine. I know he's lived in that area before, but
that would have been Camp Lejeune in the Jacksonville area.
Yes, and I know he's been arrested in Virginia, for reckless driving and stuff. He loves running red lights, stop signs. So, he's anti-authority.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is definitely dangerous.
He's a charmer. Everybody that's met him says he's a charmer. As a matter of fact, it was kind of interesting when I was talking to people in Livingston, Guatemala, and one guy said, well, he can't be that bad because he paid for some kid's teeth. So he was really a nice guy. I don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. He did have a Canadian passport. I thought too that it's possible he could be in Canada because he had a Canadian passport. He has some history in Canada.
Could he be a bouncer?
Yes, he's been a bouncer in bars in Arizona.
So all of his aliases and his full names are
RJ. He went by RJ. He was using the alias Matt when he was in Central America. He's asked people to call him Maverick.
Maverick?
Maverick.
Seriously? What's he think? He's a pilot too?
I don't know. I mean, whatever. But it's interesting. He's using the name Matt. He has a brother, Matt.
Right.
So, when you start doing searches and stuff, it kind of throws a wrench in the works because there is a mat that exists.
Mama 13 says recently in the news there's been another M with the last name McLeod. Do you see any relationship? Another 187. We can't use the word because of YouTube; it will kick us. But that's a great question. Have you heard of that?
I've heard about that guy. As a matter of fact, I've sent it to that doctor and I said, look at this guy, that went out and shot some people. Could they be related? And he said, they have the same temperament for sure, but yeah.
Has Francisco been able to flush him out?
Flush him out? No.
That okay.
He's hiding really well, and he's paying somebody to take care of him, to protect him. Right. And that's how he fled. He was warned before we got to Livingston, Guatemala.
Yeah. Any unusual tattoos?
Yes, he's had, we talked about that, Chris, where he's had Norse tattoos on him. Yeah. He also has an Arabic writing tattooed on his arm. And it was interesting because I have a friend who's a Muslim, and, he's an interpreter. And so I sent him the copy of that tattoo, and he says, who said this? Who did this? Who is saying this? I guess it was anti-God in a Muslim way, or, and they wanted to kill him for that. Somebody told me that he had like a motorcycle symbol on him, a motorcycle club, and they were mad at him for using it because he wasn't supposed to be using that. So, he's a poser. I thought maybe he was into, Norse and that sort of thing. And I was told by somebody that knew him very well that no, he's just a poser.
I love that you say he's a poser. For our younger audience, maybe we can bring them up to speed what a poser is.
Pretending to be somebody he's not.
I'll tell you, we have the greatest audience and members of this community here in the interview room family. We're all family here because, I can guarantee you our folks here they'll go on the hunt for you. I've seen it happen quickly. When Maya, as and by the way, Josephine and I have been friends for quite some time. And in full disclosure, she sits on the cold case as a victim's advocate. And that's why she's probably one of the best in the country, if you ask me. She's a real victim's advocate because she's a real mother. And she and I and others helped with Maya behind the scenes and kind of move that case into different directions. And we have others that we're helping. And so, that in of itself. So everybody loves the fact that you're using that term, Wyoming Adventures. Absolutely is. I love that term back in the day. It was, because that was like a really big insult, Well,
it was John Walsh's idea. He was the one that was calling him the poser. So.
Oh, John did. How many times has he been on America's Most Wanted back?
Well, he was in John Walsh, and he was on the recent America's Most Wanted. And then, he's been featured in some other shows, Crime Watch Daily with, Nancy Grace, and Unsolved Mystery, Still a Mystery. Twice we were on Access Hollywood. And then we have another show that's coming up at the end of the month with Nancy Grace.
What about this guy, McLeod, who shot up the tattoo parlor in Denver? I think that was a younger guy, wasn't it?
That's not him, but that's what one of your other members were talking about. Is he related to that McLeod? I don't know. I've never heard the name before this happened.
Right. Yeah, I think that guy's a little bit younger.
But it's not him. No, it's not him.
Right. And
he wouldn't be using that name.
Yeah. what else you want to, where else do you want to go? Because this, Krystal is your baby, and I just want to give you as much airtime as you need um, to talk about your book. And by the way, if you've just joined us, let me show the cover of your book, which again, I can't get enough of this idea that you've come up with here, to where if you're just joining with us, uh, Josephine's daughter, Krystal, that you see here, this is the cover of Mom's new book to help get the word out worldwide. And we're hoping that you're able to order it on Amazon, but also uh, another idea is to go to every gym around where you live, talk to the manager, see if you can get them to purchase a copy for their gym and
Mhm.
put it on the counter of that gym, kind of make it um, the gym read, so that when folks are on the treadmill or whatever, they become familiar with this beautiful woman's story. Um, Krystal's voice is being heard in this book that Josephine has written about not only her daughter, but about the suspect and her struggle for the last 5 years in getting this coward. And thank you, Lorna. I know that uh, the book in of itself is also funding Josephine's hunt for this guy, for whatever it takes. She's not going away, and that's why I titled this presentation tonight "The Chase," because literally she has been chasing this guy with the United States Marshals Office, and actually move them to move him to top 15 the top 15 most wanted in the world for the US Marshals Office. And that they also kicked him up. Tell that story, how you got them uh, to do that. And I know you guys have an amazing relationship, so you know.
Yes, well, I was really frustrated when I was, looking for him. And, I wrote to the White House. And when Trump was in office, and the White House actually responded and gave a case number on my letter. And, I share my story here because I'm also sharing for others that are out there looking for justice. And so I just disclosed everything that I did, the letters I wrote, ideas. I made it personal, for the president by, I included an 8x10 picture of my daughter. I had a picture of my grandson laying over the grave. And I made an 8x10 of that, put it in there. And I said, this is who I'm talking about. This is not just, a letter. This is somebody's life. This is my daughter, and we served, my family served in the war. My mom was a prisoner of the war, and my brothers, I have 4 brothers in Vietnam. We fought hard for this country. I should get some kind of attention on this case. I mean, something. I mean, I think everybody should have attention on their case. But, I was pushing for this case because obviously it's my daughter. It's near and dear, and I'm trying to get them to move, to do something about it. And so then the Office of International Affairs got involved, and they oversee the embassies. And, the next thing you know, I'm talking to my congresswoman saying, look, I want something done here. So she was putting in letters to the White House. She was putting in letters to the Marshals Office headquarters in Washington, D.C. And, I just kept pushing. I made myself available. One thing that is so important, and if there's anybody out there that's still looking for justice, this is very important. Typically, when something like this happens and you don't get a result, families turn against the police. They turn against the marshals. They say, you guys aren't doing your job. You're not doing enough. And that is the biggest mistake that they can make. Because when the lights, the spotlights dim, when all is quiet, all you have is that investigator in that police department. You want to have the best relationship with the police department as possible. It's not their fault. I emphasize with families out there, the police didn't kill our children. It's unfortunate it happened to them, but we're not the only case. And we have to keep, bringing this before them, but do it in a way that's constructive and not destructive. Because once you break that relationship with that police department or with the U.S. Marshals, that's it. You'd be pulling teeth every time you try to do something. But, I've gained their trust. I've gained the trust of Summer Stefan, the district attorney in San Diego. I've gained the trust of San Diego Police Department, Chula Vista Police Department, the U.S. Marshals, the embassy. I've gained their trust by keeping my anger aside. My anger is something different than what they're doing. How can I help? What can I do? If I come up with tips, they listen to me, they receive it. And I just keep walking with them and looking for different avenues to bring more attention. That's why I wrote the book, because I figure I can, first of all, I wanted to empty out all the thoughts in my head and all the things I was going through. But I also wanted to help families out there to understand that, no matter what, we have to stay strong. We have to, separate your grief. Cry your eyeballs out, fight, be angry, punch the wall, whatever you have to do, but separate it from the search for justice. Don't let all your anger, be in your search.
I'm so glad you said that, because Roxanne is experiencing what you're experiencing. And so maybe you two can connect through your foundation and give some counsel there, because I know you deal with a lot of families all the time.
Absolutely. And one of the things I do, as a matter of fact, I'm working on that case in Arizona right now, is I try to come in and build the relationship back up between the police and the families. And I tell, just like in the book I wrote about, listen up, investigators. We didn't ask to be here. We didn't ask to be in this position. Please don't look at it like we're, pushing you, but we're desperate. We're desperate families. We want justice. We want these murderers off the street. Chris, there's over 250,000 cold case homicides out there.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I'm looking to tackle. I think that this needs to change desperately, where we have to work something out with these police departments to release the cases. If they cannot solve it within 3 years, for crying out loud, allow the families to take it to a different level. There's a lot of nonprofit organizations out there that would, Cold Case Foundation being one of them, and so many out there that would do it for free. There are labs out there that can test, the evidence that are sitting in the old evidence locker forever and ever. This needs to be dealt with. This murder is crippling for every family that gets involved, that's involved in it. It's not over until it's over. And even when it's over, it's still not over. It's like losing your limbs. It's a forever thing in your heart.
Yeah, no, and your counsel is so wise, because you can speak with authenticity, and that these agencies that just get completely blown up, with multiples, or they don't have the resources or experience that puts them, into a position whereby they feel that they can, handle everything that's going on. And unfortunately, sometimes the reality is, ego steps in, and
Right.
it takes over, and they don't want to communicate with the families. And I'm not saying this is, blanket across, spectrums, but it is a reality. There's there are agencies, unfortunately, that just feel that they get overwhelmed.
They
And
are overwhelmed. They don't have the funding.
right,
They're not able to solve these cases. It's evident in the 250,000 cold case homicides out there.
right.
And if you can't take care of it, we'll allow somebody else to step in and take care of it. Because these cases do not belong to these individual police departments, and they realize they don't have the funding.
Yeah.
They're not out there looking for McLeod because
Right.
they can't.
And if you look at that comment below, let's always remember that citizens solve crimes. That's why they're called witnesses.
Yes.
And so when we come together as like this platform in the true crime community here, and we present factual focus and information that could move a case along, this idea here, like what Vet Girl put up here, this is exactly what we're talking about, right? And where if everybody takes, social media and really, the trolls do it really good, really well.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to take something down or, attack somebody, 15 minutes, it's in 10 million places. Okay. Well, we're talking about Krystal Mitchell tonight. If you want to do something productive, right? All of us, let's do it. This is the time to prove to law enforcement that we love them, we care about them, and simultaneously we can help in a positive way. But then there are times where you just have to be brutally honest. And you were brutally honest in the beginning, and you were able to keep the pressure on.
Yes.
And now your guy, excuse me, is on the top 15 most wanted U.S. Marshals list in the world.
Yes.
With the highest ever reward.
Yes.
That didn't happen by accident.
No, it was push, and never quitting, never giving up. Think outside the box. Think of ways to, bombard the governor's office with red postcards. Get people involved. Don't give up. Just do it productively. And also, you have to maintain a balance. You have to maintain a balance. And I say to families out there that are looking for justice is listen, grieve, cry your eyes out, be angry, be upset, maintain a balance. Don't shove all those feelings somewhere else and then explode later on or kill your family in the process, or die yourself from a broken heart. Just deal with the death. I had to do that with my daughter. I took death apart. I pounded it. I asked all the questions, why, how, every day I wake up, I think, could I have done something different? What if I said this? Could I have warned her? What if I was there? And, you can't do that to yourself. You have to heal. And, one thing I said to Nancy Grace, and they were just amazed. It was so simple, but I said, we have to understand our children are ahead of us, because the hardest thing to heal when you lose a child is you don't want to leave them behind. You're thinking that if you go forward, if you're getting well in your head and your emotions, then you're leaving them behind. And that's not true, because they are ahead of us.
Right.
We're heading in the direction they're at right now.
Right. I mean, the other night with Sincoli, and Nicole, our viewers put that petition out.
Yes.
About the governor, and they went from under 5,000 to they exploded way past 5,000. And I didn't know the algorithm keeps changing the number for the petition. And when I talked to Claudia, she was like, thank you. I said, well, don't thank me. That's, there are tens of thousands of people that are behind your family and your daughter to keep this animal, behind bars. And so, and I commend you, Josephine, for just your tenacity, and, you're just, you're living, every parent's nightmare. And you're also, I think, a mentor in relationship to, what it means to have authentic, to teach through authenticity. Again, the fact that you're able to embrace that pain and
Yes.
then move it forward. And I know it wasn't easy. Trust me, you and I both know that. Okay, but you came to a place where
Mhm.
you have been able to push it forward, and you're now, healing other people. Uh, what providence? I want to get that question answered.
Providence in Canada.
Yeah.
Um, I can't even pronounce it. It begins with an S. It's whatever, the closest one to the U.S. border. Um, it's Sash something.
Saskatchewan.
Yes, that one. Yes, that one.
Not bad, huh? Not bad.
Pretty good.
I'm not a poser.
Are you Canadian, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you knew that, but my youngest, my son who passed, he was a hockey player, and he played Canadian hockey
Mm.
in the MTHL, the Montreal Toronto Hockey League, and that's part of his story of how he passed away. He was hit in the head with a stick, and it fractured his jaw, and they had to wire his jaw shut. Anyway, it's a long story, but so I was a big hockey guy. My son was ranked back in the day
Mm.
one of the third best defensemen in the country through USA Hockey. And actually, he had a manager, guy named Thane Campbell. Those Canadians, you Canucks will know, Thane was Eric Lindros's manager, and
Mm.
Thane was also handling my son. So it was a misfortune, tragedy, and but it's way different than, I know everybody, none of us want to be in that club, but my son didn't die viciously
Mhm.
like your sweet daughter. So,
Mm.
I commend you for having such strength, to turn it around. Somebody says get the book to Netflix. Hopefully you're working on that.
No, I haven't. I'm just working on other cases too, I
So
just
anybody in the entertainment industry out there that has some access for her, uh, throw them the book and have them reach out to Josephine so she can, um, you know, take a look at that.
Yes, and also, I was at the hairdresser, and she said, hey, Josephine, can you bring some books in here so people can read it? But she says, I have customers that actually went out and bought your book because they saw it in here. So women out there, take it to your hairdressers and have them display it there. So the more people that pick it up and read it, the better it is, more exposure, especially in Arizona, Scottsdale area, Phoenix. I would really appreciate it in those areas because I'm sure the women that know where he's at probably go there.
Yeah. What other questions does everybody have? Somebody asked, is he hiding like BL? Well, this is BL on steroids times 10,000.
Yeah.
He's not even close to Brian. Brian's not even his league. This guy is very dangerous. He's probably, the making of a serial killer if he hasn't already multiplied his kills in the last 5 years. Um, so the recap on this is Josephine's daughter was murdered brutally in San Diego County. She's written a book about her daughter's story. Here is Krystal, her sweet book. The book is called The Chase. It's an amazing story where she wrote not only about her daughter, she's written about the suspect who is on the top 15 U.S. Marshals most wanted list. And we're hoping to get this guy in custody. He's on the run. He is a monster. And let's see, and Jen in Australia, get some of my hairdressers everywhere. Jen, everywhere in the world. He will be in Interpol because the fact that he's on the U.S. Marshals Most Wanted. So our Australian friends, same thing. If you can just have your gym order the book on Amazon, put it in their gym, and if you can get it, please get it. The links are below. The Amazon link is also in our chat as we go forward here. I just think it was an incredible idea that you came up with, that you were able to, I've never seen that. I mean, and I've been in this game 40 years. And when you told me about it, I was like, wow, that is.
I was frustrated. I wanted to shout, from the rooftops, and I was just frustrated. How else do I get this guy? I mean, mind you, I'm raising 2 grandchildren. So, I just had to do this. I just thought, well, if I can't find him, then I'll make him famous. And, have him looking over his shoulder, wondering, are they reading the book about me? I want him to be very uncomfortable wherever he's at.
Yeah, wherever you women hang out, he's probably going to be a magnet to those types of locations. I love this idea, nail salons.
Yeah.
Like you said, let's make him famous, right? What a beautiful idea. Vet hospitals. Here's another great one. Thank you, Navy vet.
Yes.
And thank you for your service. You are
Yes.
a real American, not this dirtbag who's
Yes.
bringing all vets, at least some. He was a turd. That's what the terminology. All of his buddies. Yeah, he's a malignant narcissist for sure. He seems like he's charming. That looks good for the media. Women that think he'll make a good, friend or whatever. No, he is dangerous. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. What he does is he uses his muscle, presentation the same way Ted Bundy utilized a cast.
Yes.
To hit you in the head, and then eventually, he'll get you.
He wears all these rings. He has these big rings that he wears, and that's what he beats women with.
Doctor's office. Thank you, Carrie. Here's another good one. Is it on Audible yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Let's make him infamous, Kathleen. Yeah, totally agree. Yes, is he? I'm going to get on Tinder. I've always wanted to catfish. Be careful.
Yeah, please be careful.
And thank you, Mama. You're so good. Folks are saying thank you. What was her favorite color?
Blue.
So let's throw some blue hearts up for this family.
Yes.
Let's show them how much we care. Dancing in clubs like carnivals and circus. I don't know how to look it up. Any skills? We had a question about his employment history.
Well, according to one of his wives, he was a bum. He had a title of insurance agent, but according to one of his wives, he didn't work. He really had horrible credit and didn't work, and that he was getting money from his family.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that, where he gets some of his funding, if you feel comfortable.
Well, from what I was told, and this again, I can't verify everything, and I'm not going to say that his family's actually doing this, because I can't verify that.
Yeah, don't get it right.
But I was told that he was getting money from his family. That's how he was surviving. When he was around. Now, he's had supposedly some construction background, but I think he's just a bum. I mean, he wanted to get involved in, he did a lot of going and working in bars, a bouncer. And somebody said he was a stripper at one time, a male stripper. So just anything to get by. I mean, his LLC, I don't think it got anywhere. He wanted to do fugitive recovery.
Unbelievable. It doesn't surprise me if, he did, that dancing. When I work Vice, those guys were a bunch of losers, and they still are even to this day. No offense to any of the women listening, because I know that you guys all probably feel the same way. And anyway, so, well, I have had you for almost an hour and a half, and my tradition is always to give you the last word. And then I always like to, tell everybody we're going to go to Hawaii. But if you're just getting here with us, we want to thank you up front for everything that you're doing on behalf of not only Josephine and Krystal to get this animal off the street, but continue to come up with great ideas, and go on her website. All the links are going to be below. Take this video tonight, her story, share it with the world, share it on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. And let's make this guy infamous, and let's get it out there into gyms, into any places you guys come up with. We are so grateful, for that here at TIR, but more importantly for Krystal. Hopefully we can make a huge difference and utilize these platforms just what they're supposed to be utilized for.
Yes.
And that is doing good. And that is good. You're amazing. I'm looking for a new mom.
Hey, right? Tell me your problems. I'll give you some advice for sure.
There you go.
And people can also reach me on Facebook. I do have Angels of Justice Facebook page, and I tend to update that with different things that I'm doing and stuff. So, feel free to contact me if your family's out there and, you're dealing with injustice and you need some assistance, you need some guidance. Feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to help anybody that contacts me. Of course, my services are 100% free. I do it out of my heart. I do it because I understand where you're coming from and because I believe in justice. And that's why I do it. So, Chris, thank you for having me on again. And for everybody that's helping with the book, thank you so much. Every, book that's purchased adds another ad on social media. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hard working every day, I'm stressed out 24/7, babe. No timeouts, wish we could fly away. You and I go to our favorite place. Oh yeah, make special memories together. I'll be your company now and forever. I say we fly away, you and me, go to our favorite place. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, taking away. Don't hesitate now, we're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. We'll never come down, we're going away. Yeah, we're going away, you and me. Feeling the sun on my face in a while.